Welcome back everyone to the Hello World guys. This is another episode of the Raycasting series, and in this video we are going to create a game class and encapsulate our game related code in it to make our code a bit more organized and prepare for adding like gameplay functionality to our game. So we are going to separate the engine parts from the game parts, kind of, no, currently we are putting everything in main.cpp. We are going to change that. So first of all, I'm going to open up main.cpp, and in here, as you can see, we have got all of the things here. We have got the vector of the things, we have got the player, the renderer, everything here. Now we are going to change this by going here and creating a game.h, and in here we are going to quickly just add a header guard, and then we are going to go ahead and define that, and we are going to create a class which I'm going to just call game, and this is going to encapsulate all of the game related stuff. So we are going to put that all inside of this class. So we are going to first of all begin by of course having our vector of shared pointers to things, which is going to be our things vector, and we're going to have this here, and we are going to put this here, and that's like that. And then we are also going to have our player inside of the game. We are also going to have the renderer inside of the game. This will because this is only related to the game, it's not used in the editor or anything. And then we are going to have our we can say, well, that's pretty much all we need, but we are also going to need a map. So for the map there are two options basically, because we also need a map in the editor. So one of the better ways that I think would be to actually keep the map in the main.cpp, and then game will just take the reference to the map when it needs to. And the other option is to actually let the game maintain the map, and then the editor will just access that. Now what we are going to do is we are going to just keep the map in main.cpp for now. So we are going to go ahead and create a game constructor here. Just gonna set this to default, actually not exactly default, because this is going to initialize everything. And we are going to also have a void here, function called update, and this will take our a delta time, and it will also take a reference to a map like that. And the other thing that we will need is a render function, which will take a render window as where it needs to draw. So we're going to have a reference to that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, we of course need the map, so we're going to also have the map here. And we can actually keep this const, but because we are not going to modify this inside of this function. So now I'm going to go ahead and add game.cpp and open that up as well, and we're going to just copy these three here. We're going to include game.h here. We're going to paste everything here, and I'm going to just go ahead and add all this stuff here, and we are going to implement these functions. So let's begin with the constructor. So we're going to say game here, and this constructor is going to initialize all of the basic things. So first of all, we are going to initialize our things array. Now for that, I'm going to just go here and basically get all of this, and I'm going to copy that, and we're going to go here and we're going to initialize our things array like that, and we are going to actually go ahead and paste this in here. So yeah, that should initialize it without any problems, and we are going to actually include this stuff here as well. Let's just include all of the headers, because those are going to be needed. So anyways, we have got all of these headers here. We are going to need our player to initialize, because that needs to be initialized with the thing pointers, and for that we're going to do the thing 0. And here there is one very important thing. Actually we need to say thing 0 dot get, like that. And here there is one very important thing that you need to understand, which is that when we are initializing the player, the actual the members of the class are not actually initialized in the order that they appear in the initializer list or the constructor. These are initialized in the order that they appear inside the class. So if this things was located after the player would get initialized first with an invalid value, which would lead to a segmentation fault or something, and the things will be initialized after that, which will give an error. As you can see, this gives us a warning saying that the things is uninitialized when used here. So we need to make sure that the player is present after the things in the class. The order here doesn't actually matter. We are going to also initialize our renderer with just the default renderer, default constructor. And yeah, that's going to initialize all of the basic stuff. Now let's go ahead and implement the update function. So this is going to be game update, and for that we are going to just only go ahead and call the player update function with the delta time and the map, because that's the only update functionality we need right now. Later on we'll add more of this when we actually need that. And by the way, the render function is actually going to take one additional argument, which is going to be a bool representing whether we should display it in 2D or not. So we're going to add a view 2D bool here and change this to game render, and here what we are going to do is we are going to just essentially copy all of the stuff from the main.cpp, because this stuff here is the rendering part. So we're going to go ahead and cut all of that, and we're going to go under game.cpp and we're going to paste this. So yeah, as you can see, it's giving us a bunch of errors. That's because we need to include some headers. We're going to include the rectangle shape, and this grid size 2D we haven't defined. We're going to just define it inside of game. So we're going to say float grid size 2D, and we're going to have this here. And yeah, now all of the errors have gone away. We're going to go here and we're going to initialize the grid size 2D to 64. And yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do. So yeah, this is going to implement the functionalities correctly. Now we can just remove this from here, and we're also gonna go ahead and remove this things array from here. And by the way, we need to do this thing where we initialize everything. We need to do this inside of the game constructor, so you know that's when the game actually starts. So we need to do this here, which means we also need to take the map as an argument in the constructor. Now you might be thinking that this means that the map should actually belong to the game, but well, that's a design choice. But the map actually doesn't belong to the game. It also can be edited by the editor, so I think we should keep that in main.cpp and just pass a reference to game. So yeah, that's going to work, and we can just remove this from here. We can remove the player, we can remove the renderer, we can remove everything apart from the game editor and the map. We're going to just have a game here, an editor here, and a map here, and we're going to actually initialize the map first. And once we have loaded the map, then we can initialize the game with this map, because if we initialize it before, then that won't exactly work. And anyways, we are going to go here. You can see we don't actually need the grid size 2D here anymore. And when if our state is game, we can just update our game with delta time dot get dot as seconds, and we can update it with our map, and then we can actually render it to our window like that window with the map and the view 2D boolean. So this is going to now only call these functions inside of main.cpp, and the actual functionality of this is going to be implemented in game.cpp. As you can see, it is implemented here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we can go ahead and remove all of these headers that don't need to be included anymore, really. So we can remove all of that, and now we can try to run this. And what you should see is that we get exactly the same stuff as before, but now we have got a much better organization for our game. And yeah, now we are basically ready to go ahead and start to implement the actual game functionalities in here. So we'll need to have like a differentiate between the game mode and the editing mode, because we might actually want to create a separate binaries for editor and game, but we're going to actually bundle them into one and just have a key that switches between like an editing mode in which we can fly around in the 3D scene without doing anything, and a game mode which actually runs the functionality of the game as well. Anyways, we're going to do all of that stuff in the next video. So yeah, this was just a short video, so stay tuned for the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss it, and share this video with other people as well, and I'll see you in the next one, and bye.